Okay, so let's start with accounts receivable. So I navigate to billing and I click sidebar and I go to create transaction. Okay, so system is saying that this is the business unit that we have assigned for it. Since we don't have access for other BUs, we have only one BU, that is HW BU1. And here we can see that as a default, system has picked up the transaction source that was given by Oracle. So if we wanted to have our own, the transaction source, we will click here, the transaction source. So when we are doing this, the transaction source setup, we were saying that the reason why we are attaching this transaction type with source is that we don't want to create, get it from the LOE again. So the system will populate by default. And if you see here, since we have given the automatic numbering, system has grayed out this field. The system will generate this transaction number when we save this particular transaction. Then here we can see that there is a transaction date and there is an accounting date. So transaction date is something that when this particular transaction happened. Accounting is something that it is recorded in the books of account, which we will transfer to general ledger. And here we have currency. Currencies are, this is our functional currency. The functional currency is something that we will use, or we will, this is our ledger currency. So apart from that, let's say if we are taking maybe pound sterling, then this is our foreign currency. So let's start with using our maybe the functional currency, then we will see how the foreign currency transaction works. And yesterday we created a customer called HW customer. So let's take that customer. So let's change this to immediate. Okay. Now we have two parts. So when we are discussing about memo line, we said that for a non-inventory item, we can utilize this memo line. So what I'm going to do is like for the initial thing, I'll go with the item. That is inventory item. I will take on inventory item and we will see. And after this, we will take this memo line and we will see how this memo line will work. Okay. So I have the item. So I have given the line. Let me save this transaction.
Arun sir,
Yeah, yes,
sir, one small doubt, sir.
yes, please.
In that, in the line item,
Hmm.
UAM, unit of measure, you were chosen, no?
Yeah, yes.
Unit of measure. That
Yeah.
is EA means what, sir?
Each is CA.
Each. Okay.
Yeah. So we are not considering the bots or the quantum of it, but we are
Okay.
taking each item.
Okay.
Okay. So the moment I click save, we can see the transaction number has been generated. And we can see that this is an incomplete, which means this is in draft mode. We haven't even completed the transaction. Now let's go to distribution. Click action, click edit distribution. Now let me pick the account for receivable and revenue. Okay. So we have given the distribution and we have saved this, and we can click complete and review. So system should give us the status. This is complete. Okay. So this transaction stands complete now. So now we can see that transaction total is 10,000 and line level total is 10,000. And since we don't have tax and freight and the other charges, this is now. Okay. So now let's try to account this transaction.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Uh, Sorry to.
No problem.
Before that, before the status changing to complete, you have
Yeah.
done one process, no? That is, you went to distribution, sir.
Yeah. Yes. You will click action. From action, we
Uh,
will click edit distribution.
what you are distributing that? What it means, sir? That
So
action.
basically, we have three things here at transaction. So this
Okay.
is similar to our AP invoices, what we are creating. So where
Okay.
we had our header level information, line level information, and distribution level information.
Okay. Okay.
So header
Okay.
level information is something it tells about what kind of transaction is this, from
Okay.
which business unit this user is doing this particular transaction. So this is against which customer and site, and how is that customer is going to pay back us. And all those information will be available in the header.
Okay.
In the line level, we will have different items attached to the each line items. Okay.
Okay.
So here in this case, if you take, we have taken one item, that is HW item one.
Okay.
Okay. So for this item, so let's say there will be an odd case where I will order this particular item and I will supply this item as in two different schedules. Maybe let's say customer has requested for 10,000 item of maybe the laptop, and I will say that I cannot manufacture 10,000 at one go. So what I will do is I will give 5,000 now and 5,000 I will give next month. So what
Okay.
we will do, instead of creating two line item, what we will do is we will create one line item with the 10,000 quantity, and in
Okay.
the distribution we will distribute it. Okay.
Okay.
So that is the reason we have header, line, and distribution to have a detailed information thing.
Okay. Okay. See, that is see, while customer places order, in order management they create sale order and
Yeah.
they do shipment. Okay. In
Okay.
that itself, that will go to pending order, no sir. Like that, it will. It comes no like that the flow or
No,
no.
no,
Okay.
like pending order in the sense, I mean, how are you referring?
Suppose for example he places an order for 10,000 quantity. Okay.
Okay.
In that I am having only stock of 5,000.
Okay.
Balance will go to as a pending order. It will show as a pending order.
No, this is not pending order actually. This is based on actually the mutual agreement what the customer and supplier agrees upon. So
Okay, okay,
there is an advanced module on this, what you call the customer interaction. So
okay,
where this will have an workflow that will be communicated between the vendor and the customer.
okay,
So
okay.
let's say
Uh,
customer orders for the 10,000 quantity and
okay,
I give an revision to this, and this will be taken as a revision, and the customer will agree upon it, and then
okay,
I will process this 5,000 now and another 5,000 next month.
okay,
So
okay,
this is how it will be processed, but we will not have any pending status in the system.
okay, okay. Well, in Oracle, there is no like that pending status, no?
Yeah,
We
we
can't
don't.
take pending orders like that. Huh?
No, we will not take pending orders. So if we, so maybe on odd cases, if customer don't want to have this 5,000 now and 5,000 next month, we will cancel the order. So that is how it will work. We will not have the pending orders that to track it and all those things.
Okay, okay. So in case of stock out quantity, we can't keep it as a pending order. Okay.
No, we
Oh,
cannot keep it as pending.
oh, okay, okay. We have to keep it as a manual. That's only. System out to keep it as a the we can't track. Correct, no, sir?
Yeah, we cannot track. So if we are not able to deliver the quantity what
Uh,
was requested by user, we will cancel the order basically.
Immediately.
Yeah, we can cancel.
Acha. Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Okay, sir. You can proceed.
okay. So we have created the distribution, and now let's try to post to general ledger. So here it is again similar to our what do you call the AP module where we have the draft and where we have the final posting. So let me post directly to ledger. Okay, so we can see this accounting that is receivable to revenue. It has generated correctly. Okay, now let me close this page.
Sir, this accounting entry would come into effect for customer, sir. Customer to revenue like that it won't come.
No, customer to revenue, it will not affect. So basically, that is the difference between the other application and the Oracle system. So basically, Oracle is a relational database. So what is relational database? Relational database means there is a relation between each tables.
Okay,
So let's say invoice table and
okay,
payment table. So invoice table will have the reference that will link with the payment table. Similarly,
okay,
payment will have the reference linked with invoice. So this is
okay,
what we call the what do you call the interlinked the linkages between the primary key, foreign key, and all those things.
okay, okay. Oh,
Okay. So basically here, if you say customer,
ah,
customer is a party where we used only for the transaction. But if
okay,
you wanted to understand the maybe the customer outstanding and dues, so that is
ah,
where we will use the customer as an accounting impact. So
okay,
here in this particular transaction, if you want to understand the customer, what do you call, the customer dues and the outstanding,
ah,
whether we have the adjustments and all those things, we will have it in the same page. We don't need to have as a separate what do you call the accounting platform to maintain it. So
okay,
here itself we will have all those details.
okay,
So let me go to review installment. So if you see here, you can see that the due date and you can see due days. Since this
okay,
is immediate payment, it is saying that zero. Okay,
okay,
similarly, it will show for all those items. And here
okay,
you can see that this is the original amount and the balance due is 10,000. And status you can see it is open since there is a balance due that needs to be given back or closed out. So
okay,
we don't need separate this thing. Okay.
okay, okay,
And
Okay.
also here in Fusion application, we have an option to dispute.
Okay.
Okay, that we can do it here. So I'm not disputing. So I will just
Okay.
show
Okay.
how to do the dispute. So you have this one from action. You can dispute this transaction. I'm clicking dispute transaction. Okay. So it will say that this is the selected transaction or the invoice.
Okay.
So here we will see specific invoice line, or we wanted to give a percentage of it or the total dispute. So I'm selecting specific invoice line. So here we will have different reasons to dispute. So let me say late delivery. So I wanted to dispute. So dispute type, this is not mandatory. This is just an classification to say the item. So I'm
Okay.
not selecting them since this is an optional. Okay. Now I have the dispute quantity. So the moment let's say we have 10 quantity invoiced. So let me dispute for 2 quantity. The moment I say 2 quantity, amount will be calculated automatically. So it will say 2000. Okay. So now this is done. So I can click submit. So the dispute will be submitted. So I don't want to go into dispute. So I'm just giving cancel. So if at all I wanted to do, so the moment I give 2000 as a dispute, it will change the invoice amount to 8000. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Sir, the status which was showing open, that is referred to the period, or it is referred to
No.
the, I mean, that will remain open till the time the customer makes the payment.
Yeah, this is for the
Uh,
transaction. This is not for period.
okay.
So when
Okay.
customer closes this particular account or the invoice, I mean the billing part, so the
Okay.
status changes to closed.
Okay.
So this is another way of looking at the billing. So this will say as the original amount and the receipts that we make, and it will say the credit or refund that we are making to the customer. And if we are making any kind of adjustment, it will reflect here. And the bills receivable part, if we have something, it will reflect here. And then we have the discount part. If we are giving any sort of discount to the customer, it will reflect here, and it will give us the balance. Since we haven't made any receipt or any adjustment, it is showing 10,000 as balance. So now let's try to make one receipt and see how this works. So I click create receipt, and here in receipt type we can see two options. One is standard receipt and the other is miscellaneous receipt. So when will we use standard receipt and when will we use miscellaneous receipt? So standard receipt is used to match a particular invoice and make a payment or receive the payment from the customer. And miscellaneous receipt is something that we make the revenue out of business or the non-inventory item. So those kind of revenues we will make miscellaneous receipt. So for example, let's say we make something out of maybe newspaper or magazines. So this kind of revenues will be captured as miscellaneous revenue. So now we are creating only the standard receipt. Okay. So let me query the receipt method what we have created. So basically we created two receipt method. One is directly. So directly in the sense that this is a cash transaction. And another one is that one with the receipt method one, which is with the matching with the our bank statement. So for the first case, what we will take is we will take the standard clearance. I mean, not standard clearance, it is automatic clearance. So let me take this method and let me give So I have taken this. So the next step is I'll click submit and apply manually. So now we have created the receipt. So against this receipt, we will have to apply a particular invoice. If we are not applying a particular invoice, this will go as an unapplied receipt. So here you can see different the terms that they have given. So you can see that that is an entered amount, and you can see accounted amount, and we can see the total applied amount. So applied amount is 0 since we haven't attached any of the invoices. And on account is something that we hold this particular amount so that customer can utilize this amount in future time period. And unapplied is something that we don't have invoice against this particular receipt. So we haven't attached any invoices against it. That is the reason we are seeing this as an unapplied amount. And then we have exchange gain or loss. So this we will not have it since we are using a functional currency. So now let me add open receivables. So I click add the open receivables and I click done. And now since I have entered at the receipt level, I mean the header level, it is 2000. System has automatically taken this is the applied amount is 2000. Okay. So here we can see this application date and accounting date as well. So what I do, I click save. So here automatically we can see that status has changed to cleared. The reason being is that as I said earlier when we are doing this setup, so this is kind of an cash application or we are receiving the dues in cash. So that is the reason we will clear this particular transaction immediately the moment we save this receipt. So for cash, we don't need any third party or any bank or any interaction. So that is the reason we are clearing immediately. So the next case, what we will see is that the standard, the receipt, how it will work with having the bank as a third party to receive the amount, and how do we do this matching, and how do we create this manual, I mean the bank statement, and how do we create this reconciliation and all those things we will see. So we have received for, we have received 2000 from the customer. So let me save and close this page and let me go back to our transaction. So now in transaction page, we should be able to see that the receipt has made, receipt has happened for 2000. So which means the outstanding should change to 8000. Let me go to action, view balance details. Yeah. So here we can see the original amount is 10,000. We have made a receipt of 2,000 and the balance is 8,000. Okay. Let me close this page and let me create a receipt with bank interaction. So I go to receivables, accounts receivable to create a receipt. So I click create receipt. Okay. So I click receipt method 1. I give 2500. So now I have created a receipt with the standard remittance method, and I have attached the open receivable item, and now let me save this transaction. Okay, I have saved. So here we can see status as confirmed. So the reason we are seeing this as an confirmed is that this has been confirmed at our Fusion application end. But whereas the bank hasn't given any clearance that the particular payment has been cleared. So what we will do now is that we will save and close this page, and let's create a remittance batch. So we come here and create remittance batch. So we give our receipt class and receipt method.
So it is mandatory to create a remittance batch after you create a receipt with the method 1.
Yeah, I mean, method one, yeah, yes, with method one, we will have to create it. The reason is that we have bank interaction here. So if we are receiving the amount in cash, we don't need to create remittance. So if we are dealing with the bank, let's say the online transaction, or maybe we will give it in check. So those kind of things will need the bank interaction. So remittance is nothing but we are sending this file to bank, so that bank will pick this file and bank will clear our request. So this is like sending a request to bank to clear the payment.
Okay, sir.
So I have just given the mandatory details. So let me query the receipt number. So I click apply. Okay. So we have attached the details, and let me save this. Okay. Now I'm clicking approve to send this to bank. So now the remittance batch is created. We can see it has sent or it has triggered an concurrent program with the request ID. And now let's see the status of it. Okay, so this is our batch. So let's verify with our receipt number as well. Yeah, this is our batch. So this has completed. Now let's save and close this page, and let's navigate to cash management. So the navigation is bank statement and reconciliation. So how did I get this bank statement reconciliation in landing page is that I have attached this cash manager role. So since I have attached this role, I could see this functions given to me. So I click here. So here we have different options. So whether we wanted to create the bank statement or do we want to load and import the bank statement. So we will not be able to load the bank statement. The reason is that we need a specific folder to be created, and the bank statement will be loaded to this particular folder, and from those folder we will import the bank statement and we will do the automatic reconciliation. So since we don't have those interactions, we will not be able to do the auto reconciliation or importing from the bank server. So what we will do, we will create a bank statement and we will see like how the bank statement will be created and how it will be processed and how to do the reconciliation for this particular transaction, what we did it in AR. So let me create a bank statement. So I'm giving the bank account. So let's say the statement that we are loading is for August month. So let me give the statement ID. So this thing, statement ID and all those information we will get from the bank statement. And we will also have the opening balance and the closing balance from the bank statement apart from the statement lines. So since this is a manual statement creation, I'm not giving any balance for this. So what I'm doing is I'm just adding the statement line. So I click add. So here we can see this is line 1 and we have the booking date. So booking date is today and value date also same, and then we have reconciliation reference. If we have any reference for this particular transaction to be reconciled, that we can give it here. So I'm not giving any reference here, so I'm selecting check. Okay, so we will have to make the flow indicator. Flow indicator is nothing but whether we are making this as a debit transaction or credit transaction. So debit is something our AR model where we will see the deposits for us, and this is like payouts. The credit is nothing but payouts. So since we have the transactions from AR module, I'm just clicking debit and I'm just giving 2500. And others are like our additional information and fees and charges. If we wanted to add that, we can add it. So I'm not adding any charges for this particular transaction. So I'm just clicking OK. So now we have created the statement line. So now we can see here the reconciliation status is unreconciled. Because what we have done is, in this case, either we have created a bank statement manually or we have imported the transaction from the bank server. So both cases we will see the same page. So basically we will have the bank account and we will have the period from when to when, and the statement ID will be created by the bank. So we will have the IDs created, and then we will have the opening balance and the closing balance. Then we will have the statement lines. So usually statement lines will be more like at least 15-20 lines to be added. But for this testing purpose, we are just giving one line. So which is for 2500. Okay. So now we click save.
So in a real-time scenario, usually you use the bank server or you do it manually?
So in real time, so we have multiple ways of connecting with the bank server. So there are three ways. So one is SFTP. So yeah, SFTP is nothing but the file transfer protocol, where we will create a folder for us, and we will have to whitelist with the bank. So whitelist is nothing but registering our server with the bank, so that when we are sending this file to, so basically we will send this payment file to the bank, and bank will pick this particular file and bank will process it. So when bank process this particular file, bank creates a bank statement and give to us. So this bank statement will be received through this SFTP. So this is one way of communicating with the bank. And then we have the other one called host to host communication. So host to host communication, in a way that this is like our what do you call, the direct interaction between the bank server and our Fusion application. So the moment we generate this particular payment file, we will have a custom program to push this file to bank server. So when we click complete, a program will automatically trigger and push this transaction to bank server. And bank will pick the file and bank will process, and immediately the bank, the bank statement will be sent to us. So this is second way. And the third way is the manual way of doing it. Manual way of doing it in the sense, so basically we will generate the payment file. So after generating the payment file, what we will do, we will have a net banking login for the corporates. So that will be different. So where after creating the transaction, after getting the payment file, what we will do is that we will log in with the net banking, and we will upload our payment file there through the Excel sheet or any other format. We will Bank will basically give us the format. So on the prescribed format, we will upload the file in bank net banking server. The bank will take from there and process the file. So this is usual three practice that we have it in the Oracle. Okay, and
What's the
apart
full
from that,
form of SFTP, sir?
sorry,
Yes, you mentioned the first way was SFTP. No, what is the full form of that?
this is file transfer protocol.
And S is
Yes, is I think, I'm not sure. Yes,
okay.
I
No,
think
no
this
problem, sir.
is named as, we used to call this as an file transfer protocol basically.
Okay, okay, sir.
Maybe let me check and
Yeah,
maybe
okay,
I'll
sir.
do.
Fine, no problem. Yeah.
Sir, Arun sir.
Yeah, I think it should be secure file transfer protocol. I believe it is
Okay,
secure
sir.
file. I'll confirm through this on WhatsApp.
Okay,
I'll confirm.
okay, sir. Fine.
Yeah.
Arun sir.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Sir, this reconciliation,
Yeah.
on what basis the reconciliation happens, sir? See, we have different amounts at various dates. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
receipts would be in different dates. Okay, and
Yes.
the same amount will get repeated in different
Yeah.
dates.
Yeah.
And customer will pay partial amount at one date, another like that and all. How the system will reconcile, sir? In
Yeah.
case of manually, okay, we have a control, and also when we download the statement from the bank, also we do some control will be there to
Yeah.
matching. But how this electronically, how it will based on the date and amount, or date and transaction amount, or how it does that actually?
Yeah, so that is why we have this column called reconciliation reference. So when
Okay,
I was mentioning about this column, I was saying that this is used to add as a reference to match our actual transaction with the bank transaction. So we will have a reference number as an nautical middleman or something to reference our bank book as with our cash book. Okay, so
that is
basically.
we have to enter, sir. This reconciliation reference means we have to enter, or
No, no, this will be received as a part of bank statement. We will have it with the bank statement.
okay,
Yeah, since this is a manual reconciliation, we didn't give reference.
okay, oh,
Usually, we
oh,
will have the reconciliation reference number. So,
okay.
based on this, we will do the reconciliation.
reconciliation reference number in bank statement it will have, or
Yeah,
I
bank statement we will have the reconciliation reference number.
see. One example I will tell you, sir. For example, today,
Yeah.
sorry, day before yesterday, one customer has paid some amount of 5,000. Okay,
Okay.
we have accounted in our books. Okay,
Okay.
and in the bank it is got cleared today. Okay,
Okay.
in credit side in bank statement it got cleared. Okay, in
Okay.
our debit side it is there. Okay, so now the matching, suppose we have put the date, and okay, accordingly we accounted, but in the bank statement there will be a transaction reference, something that ID and all they will put.
Yeah.
Now how the matching will happen in this case?
So that's what it is, based on the reference what we are referring to. So let's say we have an invoice, maybe 231
Ah,
and 421. So we
okay,
have two transactions. So
okay.
for the each transaction, we will create a different payment file. Okay. When the
Hmm,
payment file is different, we will have each reference for referring to each payment file. Okay. So
hmm,
this is our point of reference to
hmm,
match our particular 231 and 431.
hmm,
So each will have different reference number, so that will be recorded in our system, and
hmm,
the same will reflect in our bank statement. Okay, so this is the base for us. So basically,
okay,
we call UTR number. So what is UTR number? UTR number is something that are unique transaction reference number. So if you
okay,
do this Google Pay or something, when after completion of the what do you call the payment
okay,
what was requested, we will have this UTR number generated, which
okay,
means this will act as a transaction reference number, so that later point of time, if we want to refer to something, we can have this as a reference. So
okay,
similarly, we have here the reconciliation reference. So this is the point of referring it. And apart from that, if we are using this automatic reconciliation, so we
okay,
have basically the matching rule. So we have basically the different matching rules to be set up. So
okay,
based on this matching rule, when we receive the bank statement from the bank, so we can create this automatic reconciliation, and then we can match and we can reconcile automatically. We don't want to create the statement line and reconcile manually. So this process will be avoided when we receive file from bank and do this matching rule and all those things.
okay. So it is based on reconciliation reference.
Yeah. Okay, maybe anyway, I'll show this one reference. I mean, how it has been
Okay,
reconciled. Then maybe we will have some more clarity, I think.
okay,
So let me close this page. Okay. So here, if you see, the reference is blank because this we created as an manual entry. So we don't have any references against it. So if we are getting the statement from bank, we will have a proper reference against each line. So accordingly, we will set up a matching rule against this bank statement or the particular transaction, so that the system will pick this transaction, the system will reconcile. So if you see here, we have two references. So reference is nothing but our transaction numbers. Okay. So similarly, we will have a reference number that is given here with the UTR and other details. So based on this details, we will basically match our what do you call the subledger transaction or the system transaction with the bank statement lines. Okay. I think we have taken the other way. I think this hasn't saved properly. Okay, let me create once
So
again.
the system reference number should match with the bank reference number also, no sir, or is it different? I
Yeah,
mean,
it should match
yeah,
basically. So that is the
yeah.
point where we will be able to reconcile our bank book with the cash book.
Okay, okay.
So those information will be available in the reconciliation reference number.
Okay. So what is the booking date and the value date?
I mean,
Reference.
it will be same. Booking date is nothing but when this transaction is recorded. The value
Okay.
date is something when this has been valued. So that is why we see this as a mandatory and this non-mandatory.
Okay.
So that's what we couldn't get this reference number. So if we have the reference number, maybe we will be able to match with our reference, and we will know that this is the transaction against this particular statement line. So for now, I'm just taking this line to match with this our receivable transaction. So the moment I uncheck this, we can see there is a difference. So I'm just checking this, and let me reconcile this. Okay, so this 144 has been reconciled now. Okay, so we can check here. So we can see these are the transactions, those are unreconciled, and we can see here the reconciled transactions. Okay, so here we can see this is from the receivable and statement. This is the statement line. Since we don't have the reference number, we are not able to see here, but this is the transaction and against the system transaction. Okay, so these are the reconciled items, and whatever we are seeing it here is unreconciled items. So now we have created a bank statement, and we have created or we have reconciled the particular transaction. Now let's go back to our receivables and try to verify the status of the receipt. So now we should be able to see the receipt status as cleared since we have matched with our bank statement. So this receipt number is 144. So we can see the status as cleared. So now let's account this transaction and see what are the accounting entries that has generated for this particular receipt. Okay, so we can see that this is cash to receivables. So which means we have received cash from the customer. Okay, so now we have taken this receipt. Maybe due to some reason, if we are refunding to the customer or customer don't want to give this back or for any cases if we wanted to cancel this particular receipt, so how do we cancel this? So we don't have any option to cancel this receipt, but we can only reverse this receipt. So what will happen when we reverse this receipt? So the amount that we have received will be, so let me say this account is closed and we will reverse this particular receipt. So here in reversal we have two ways of reversing. So one is standard reversal and the other is debit memo reversal. So what is standard reversal is that by default we will reverse this particular transaction, but still the invoice what we have created will be open. But in case of debit memo, we are trying to close those invoices as well. So that is the difference. So what I do, I'll click non-sufficient fund and I'll click account closed. Let me reverse this. Okay, so we have reversed. Let's check the accounting entry whether the entries has been reversed. Okay, so we can see that entries has been reversed. Okay, so now we have seen how to reverse the receipt and how to create a simple receipt with the cash, and also we have seen how to create a bank statement or input the bank statement and do this particular reconciliation and check the status of the receipt. So there will be few cases where we will need to adjust the transaction at the invoice level. So how do we do this adjustment? So what we do before that, let's verify our balance, view balance details. Okay, so we can see 2500 has been made as an entry. So now let's click action and create adjustments. So if you remember while we are doing the setup, we created something like HW ADJ, that is adjustments that we have created. So we are using the same adjustment what we have created. So here we can see different adjustments. So whether we wanted to do the charges adjustment or only the freight or only the line or the adjustment to the total invoice. So let me take the total invoice, or maybe let me take only the line. Okay, so let me adjust for 500.
So why was it not highlighting when you had selected the invoice adjustment? Because that was particular for a line. That's why.
For invoice.
No, you had selected the invoice adjustments. It was not highlighting here. No? I mean, it was graded out.
Yeah,
Why
we
is that
cannot,
so?
if we say invoice adjustment, this is on a whole, right? So we don't want to change or adjust on invoicement. I mean, if so, there are different ways of adjusting. So if we select invoice adjustment, which means we are adjusting the entire amount of this particular bill, which means let's say 10,000 is the bill amount, and when we say the invoice adjustment, which means we are adjusting or we are knocking off this complete 10,000. So system will not allow us to make any changes since we are making the complete adjustment. And then
Okay.
we have the line adjustment. Line adjustment is something we might have 10 lines. So out of 10 lines, which line we wanted to make as an adjustment? Out of this line as well, so we will might need to adjust maybe 500 or 1000. So that we can do. So the reason why we are not able to adjust on the invoice line is that always system will take as a whole, but it will not allow us to make any changes on this particular what you call the adjusted amount.
Okay.
So that's what, if we wanted to make partial, we will have to choose the line. If we wanted to make the complete adjustment, maybe we should go for invoice adjustment. So let me submit this transaction. Okay, maybe the approval has to be defined for this. Okay, let me create a separate user for that. So basically, we should be able to get this receivable module access. I think it is getting some time to update this. So let's wait for, and maybe let me log out and log in again. Okay, I think this is burning our time. So what I'll do, so we will move on with the other things what we have planned. So I'll show this on end of the session. Finally, maybe we can see this adjustment part alone. So apart from that, what we have seen in the receivable module is that we have created a transaction and we have seen how the receipt application work and all those things and things we have seen. And this adjustment alone, I'll just show you at end of this session.
Okay, sir.
Fine.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Sir,
Yes.
Arun sir,
Yes.
you can stop this recording and again start because fixed as a separate now.
Okay. Fine.
Okay.
Because the file will be very big.
Yeah. Maybe we will have
We'll,
to end the session. So
Okay,
yeah, we'll re-log in, sir.
relay.
yeah. Okay. Fine.
Okay, sir.